Get more for your money with Cyberbucks, M-Perks, and Meijer. Save every time you shop with Cyberbucks. Clip the M-Perks coupon before checkout to save $10, $20, or up to $30. Redeem on each qualifying purchase now through December 3rd. Plus, get 50% off select outerwear and the entire stock of sleepwear for the family. And 30% off select Lego playsets. Get more for your money with the same low Meijer prices no matter how you shop, in-store and online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Everybody, welcome to the 174th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwoods. I am the host of this lovely show, and joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm great. I didn't realize how close. 26 weeks is still a long time. It's like half a year, but we're creeping up on 200.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to do something stupid big for 200. I'm like
there, yes,
like stupid big for 200. And you've been my most consistent host. I don't even know how long it's been. I feel like we've done it like at least 80 episodes or something.
Since at least 2020, I know.
Yeah, and it's so yeah. I didn't like you said it, and then it's like, good Lord, that's not too far away from 200. So. Yeah, we're going to have to do a bunch of updates. We're going to have to get some guests on here.
For sure.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm doing well. We are in my favorite time of the year. If you follow me on at Floyd Johnson Jr., you will know I love Christmas. I am not a Christmas freak. I am not like Clark Griswold. I am not. But I do have a healthy love and respect for this time of year. Santa Floyd likes to come out, and there is this adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin. I don't know which one of those chemicals was right for the experience I have that I get from giving a gift and somebody getting it and then opening it, and it's the right gift. It's the perfect gift. I'll look at someone's list, but I don't like it. I think if you give a great gift, you've built a relationship with a person, you talk to the person, you know what they like, and you're going to get them something uniquely from you to them, and it's just like that moment when you do get the right gift and they smile or whatever. It's like the greatest moment ever. I'm also an impatient gift giver. So when I get a gift, I bought the gift, and I want you to have it now. I know you need to wait, but I want to tell you what it is and for you to have it now. Because I know that feeling, like your gift. I am so, I've had your gift for a while. I am so antsy for you to get your gift. I shouldn't be, like, because it's yours, but I am so antsy. It's like, I am impatient. Like, if you say, hey, here, Floyd, here's your gift. Don't open it at Christmas. No problem. Have no problem waiting. But I want you to open your gift. I am terrible about this.
You need to get that experience of like what my reaction is going to be.
Yes, I need to know that what you enjoy. So like, yeah. So it's like I said, it's my favorite time of year. I love cheesy Christmas movies. I love good Christmas movies. I love all of them. I don't like only Christmas movie I don't like, and I only reluctantly say it's a Christmas movie because of the groundswell, is Die Hard. Because I think Die Hard is an amazing, amazing movie. I think Die Hard is the action movie, and so many people have stolen from Die Hard, right? The Rock did the Skyscraper movie, which is basically a Die Hard ripoff, right? Don't get me wrong. Die Hard, perfect action movie. 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5. Whatever rating you lose, it's perfect. It's not a Christmas movie.
So you're on that side of the argument.
Which is fine. But I do think if you want to watch Die Hard at Christmas, and that's how you experience Christmas, and you have a joy for Christmas, watch Die Hard till you're blue in the face. Watch it all the time. If that was to make you happy, watch it. Only thing I have is I think most people pick Die Hard to try to be contrary.
Okay.
I don't think they like it really as a Christmas movie. It's just they don't really like Christmas movies, so they say Die Hard because it's the least Christmas movie that happens at Christmas. But hey, this year I've decided to take a year off of arguing that point and just let everybody enjoy what they enjoy. You know the sign that just says just enjoy wrestling? I wish I had one that says just enjoy Christmas movies. Whatever you consider your Christmas movie, if you want to go see Krampus and that's your Christmas movie, and you want to see movies where everybody die at Christmas, hey, enjoy. Just because that's what time of year it is. I'm accepting it this year. Next year, around November, I will be back to my feisty arguing self. But I decided to take this year off.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to hear that. I am doing well as well. I'm mostly just on the high on the fact that the USA is in the knockout stages of the World Cup. Let's freaking go. I'm so gassed. I'm pulling for these guys to be able to make a nice push in the World Cup because, I mean, hell, a few years ago back in Russia's World Cup, we weren't even in the goddamn thing.
Yep, 4 years. Every 4 years I have to deal with this time of year where people pretend to care about like the eighth most popular sport in America.
Hey, I have an actual soccer club that I support. It's Arsenal.
I have a soccer club I support too. Fulham, baby. Tony Khan. What's up?
Okay, all right. I got you.
Your TK, what's up? No, but no, I don't care about soccer at all. I just, like I said, it's just in America. I mean, hey, you have a soccer team, and it's like, I'd say 1 out of 10 people I know actually like watch soccer other than at the World Cup. But dude, when the World Cup,
I'm one of those ones.
Yeah, dude, when the World Cup comes around, everybody loves soccer, and it's just like,
it's more so just because, again, my favorite chant that US fans have done is when they played England and they just chanted "It's called soccer" at England fans, and the fact that they tied us was like getting a draw against England shouldn't be something that we're proud of, but it is. But I love it.
I would be so embarrassed if I was England. I would just walk around with my head in shame, because if we went over there and played American football and an English team even scored on the American team, it would be the end of the world.
Because, yeah.
Or if somehow England ever beat America in basketball, oh my God, heads hanging down low. Don't look at an English person in the eye today because you should be in shame. So I can only imagine with basically the national sport. I mean, it is the most important thing in England is that sport. In America, where, like I said, 6 or 7, somewhere down there, and it's like we come in and tie you. We shouldn't. You should have beat the crap out of us, but you didn't.
But you didn't. So I'm just riled up about that. But Yes, thank you guys so much for keeping in check with us. I know we put out our last episode where we covered Full Gear literally after AEW Dynamite in Chicago, so we were only able to touch on a couple things, but this is your official review of the Thanksgiving Dynamite and Black Friday Rampage that we're going to be talking about this week. So again, thank you for the patience. We really appreciate it. So we got a lot to get to with this show, but before we get into it all, we want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts. And if you listen to us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen to us, please give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. And you can also leave a rating and a review if you feel so inclined to let us know how we are doing. But the easy way for you guys to support us is following us on social media. We are at AT Elite Pod on Twitter, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Please check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Szumowicz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And first, we have a big news of the week, and I want Floyd to go ahead and take this little topic right here to give a big shout out to this guy.
This is in-house. By the time this show comes out, it'll be the day after his birthday, but I want to give a shout out to One Nation Radio's own Mr. Joshi himself. I don't think he likes people calling him that, but he's still good. His name's James Boyd. Happy birthday, James. He's old. He's getting older. But like seriously, if you ever want to know about Stardom wrestling, make sure you're watching One Nation Radio. There are two people, like my friends with Social Suplex, just in their group chats on Facebook. I have gotten so much more educated as a fan on the different types of wrestling, different types of wrestlers out there, styles, what different people like compared to me. Like so much more of a well-rounded wrestling fan just being part of Social Suplex. So I'm going to tell you, if you are a wrestling fan and you want to expand your horizons and broaden and know more stuff, make sure you are checking out the shows on the Social Suplex. One Nation Radio, Keeping It Strong Style are definitely the heads of this ship. Of course, listen to us, All Things Elite. But yeah, make sure you are tuned in to the Social Suplex shows. And I want to give one more shout out to the AEW Match Guide, Sir Sam. He did his last episode of the AEW Match Guide. Just, life got busy and stuff. I appreciated the show. AEW is very close to both of our hearts. So every week he would go through another great match in AEW history. I got to relive it by listening to people talk about it. So make sure you're still checking out his show. The great thing about his show, even though he might have stopped doing it, like all those matches happened and the people talking about them happened. So there's not like, oh, well, I have to listen to the show right now or it's not fresh. No, these are matches that are happening. The opinions are still good. So keep downloading the show. Maybe we can spike his numbers and get him to come back.
All right. I will also give a quick shout out to my good friend Security Sam. I know you're not doing well right now. I know you're still hurting. I know it's because y'all thought you were going to drop 50 on Michigan and you didn't. You got spanked. And I just want to extend my love to Security Sam. He works hard. He's a badass. He's amazing. But I need him to understand, you don't own the Big Ten anymore. That's no longer your conference. That weirdo in his khakis, he owns the Big Ten Conference now. And you learn to accept it and go on about your business. Go Blue. Anyway.
I think Ryan Day got one more year before he's fired.
Ryan Day, I think, is broken. Honest to God. I think that entire school got broken in that second half. Without Blake Corum, without their best player, y'all got spanked. You should feel so bad.
Yeah, that's nice. Shout out to my Florida State Seminoles, 9-3, 9-3. I'll take it. I mean, hey, it's baby steps, and everyone says it's baby steps, but dude, that 9-3 is a gigantic step from where we were last year. We were 5-7. We were 5-7 last year, and we were barely 5-7. So 9-3. Big old jump. So shout out to them. Congrats to your Michigan Wolverines. Harbaugh is like, so when I watch football, I like, scoring, blah, blah, blah. But when I build my team on Madden or I build my team on college football, I know it's been for a long time. I always build my teams as big physical running teams. I pretty much build them in the Jim Harbaugh way. And based on when he was with the 49ers, and he'd be running 3 tight ends and all these different types of offense. And he basically took the NFL back years because he just said, you know what? I know everyone is out here trying to chunk the ball. I'm just going to put up 350-pound guys. I'm going to get 300-pound tight ends, and I'm just going to run the crap out of it and beat you into submission. And he did that. He did that at San Francisco. And then he came to Michigan. He's like, you know what? Everybody's going spread and wide out, throwing it. No, Michigan said no. We're going to I formation. We're going to go single back, and we're just going to beat you into submission. And then
I will firmly say, though, it took Harbaugh a while. And I will firmly say, somebody, I do not like Jim Harbaugh. I respect him, but I don't like him. But these past 2 years, he has come out and he has genuinely changed the entire perception of Michigan football and has brought genuine success to Michigan football that they haven't seen in years. It took like 4 or 5 years, but he finally got it right.
Ohio State threw 9 in the box, and Michigan just threw over the top of them, and it was beautiful. And, it was a great game, especially somebody I don't, I only root for Michigan because of the summer with that's it.
Yes.
Other than that, honestly, never cared who won between Michigan and Ohio State. But I root for them because my people like them. And so Michigan went out. I was happy for you and your family and got the dub. It sucked.
Well, we're a house divided, though, because Michigan State, we got my sister and my mom on that side of things.
Yeah, it sucks. Your dad had to work during the game.
Oh, my God. He was losing his mind.
It's a holiday. It should be a holiday in Michigan.
He should at least get it off for the Big Ten championship game or when they eventually go to the college football playoff. He needs that off.
The game should be a holiday. You should be able to show that you went to Michigan or from Michigan. You should get the day off. I don't care. It shouldn't require that. It's the game. You know what I mean? It's of course, my rivalry is Florida State, Miami, OU, Texas, all those, but only one is called the game. So,
absolutely.
It should be a national holiday. It should be enshrined. I need Joe Biden to get this done. Everybody should be off. I was so disappointed. I was disappointed. My heart broke for your dad not being able to be at watch Michigan.
I think he's just more so happy about the win.
Of course he's happy about the win. But you getting to sit home with your bowl of chips or whatever he eats during the game and watching your team just bully Ohio State. The second half just had to be damn near orgasmic for Michigan fans because it wasn't close. It was over.
It was not.
It was over. So, that's just a great position to be in. So I tip my hat to Harbaugh for putting his culture in Michigan. And a lot of people's like, oh, you're antiquated. You're 80s, 90s style. It's never going to work on a major. You're not going to be able to recruit to this style of offense. And he just did it his way, and it got there. And you know what? In Michigan, credit to them, sticking to him. A lot of teams fire their coaches before they get a chance to get their culture in there the right way. They stuck with Harbaugh probably because they were paying him a crap ton of money, but they still stuck with him. And, they're paying benefits. This playoff.
It's hysterical, too. He took a pay cut and then all of a sudden started winning.
Yeah, because he knew he would bet on himself. Playoffs this second year in a row, right? Dude, that's pretty impressive. So,
yep, first undefeated season since I was born in '97 when they last won the Natty.
Yeah,
but anyways,
I know this is not college football, but I love football.
Absolutely.
I don't think I can do a college football podcast, but I can talk for hours upon hours about college football.
If we did a podcast about football, it would last 3 hours, but we're not going to go down that road. Let's get into AEW Dynamite in Chicago at the Wintrust Arena, where we open things up with William Regal in the middle of the ring and talked about how Mr. Friedman, I know y'all want to hear from him, but you can't because he doesn't have time to come to places like, and he looks over to his side like, where are we? Chicago. Fans start just booing Regal, just getting after him. Fuck you, Regal chants are flying around the Wintrust Arena. And he said he's now in the middle of a major motion picture, as we all know, with the movie that's coming out. Super excited about that with the Von Erichs. Like, oh, it's going to be such a good movie. I'm so excited. But he said, listen, y'all want to know what the reunion is between myself and MJF? And a number of weeks ago, I can tell you, I sent an email to MJF. You will not be privy to that email until next week when MJF is on Dynamite to explain himself. When you hear from the new world champion, the devil himself, and then that is when Jon Moxley's music hits. He walks out just seething, and he gets into the ring, and as he gets into the ring, Bryan Danielson sprints in, blocks him off, and is just holding him back from Regal. And he's like, listen. I don't know why he did what he did. He did a bad thing. We've all done bad things. I've done bad things. You've done bad things. But listen. He's got a bad neck. He's got all these physical problems. Like, do not hurt him. Just don't hurt him. And then Danielson just out of nowhere slaps Moxley in the face, and then he's like, I'm sorry. Like, and then Moxley again, just continuing to see while he's just like pacing. Basically, he's like, listen. Don't block the fans out. I don't care if they're booing. Don't listen. Do you know what the struggles that you've dealt with? All those things. My dad struggled with those same things, but this is more than wrestling right now. So when my dad had those problems, I didn't understand why. Only one person taught me why my dad went through those struggles, and it was that man, William Regal. Because of him, I was able to understand my dad's struggles, and for the last 10 years of my dad's life before he died, I was able to love him because of this man. Now just imagine like you having someone teach your daughter to love you despite your struggles. And he's like, listen, like, well, we understand he did a bad thing, but just don't hurt him. I love this man, please. And it was a very interesting way for Danielson to be so defensive and making sure Regal doesn't get hurt. And eventually Moxley gets on mic, says, your lordship, it's like, I only want one thing from you right now. I want you to run far away as you can. Don't you ever come back. Right now, walk. Keep on walking. And he just tells Regal to get out of the ring before he does something bad. Like, Mox is literally on the ropes, holding himself back from doing something that he might regret. Regal leaves. Danielson leaves. That's the end of the segment. And it was a hell of an opening segment. Like, we don't get that too often from AEW, where a segment opens things up as opposed to a match. But this was really good, and it was also a really good way to like continue this story without Max being there. And because I know people would want to hear from Max immediately after a moment like that, but with him not being there, like Regal doing this segment and then Moxley and Danielson's involvement, like, is outstanding. I loved this opening moment.
Yes, it was. This segment was very good. The whole Bryan Danielson.
It's confusing, I will say. Still,
yeah, it went a little awry, but it was like it added a very real and emotional tie to it. That Bryan Danielson, like, I know he did something bad. I know he screwed you over, but it doesn't change what he's done the rest of his life. He deserves another chance. And it was a perfect excuse for Mox not to drop him on his already badly damaged neck. You know what I mean? So it's like, Regal can't get physically involved. So it ended up being a perfect reason to not get involved. But I thought there was some emotion in this. I really did think William Regal is always better as a heel. He just is. He's one of the best villains of all time. He's called the gentleman villain. This is what he does. He does it great. The Mox thing was straight out of an action movie. he get to the villain and it's like, dude, I could just take you out. Boom, like this. Just run. Always be looking over your shoulder. Always be scared. I'm going to end you. It really did remind me of the Pulp Fiction when Marcellus, I think it's Wallace, is that what's his name? But he told Bruce Willis's character that you lost your California or Los Angeles privileges, and told him to just basically run away, like go away. And it was just this moment, almost like a Western. It's just so many different powerful different situations that you can take from it. How angry Mox was, when you meet somebody that screwed you over, and how Bryan Danielson not just begged for him, begged for his life. And it was just an amazing moment.
It was. I will definitely want to see exactly like how much this goes on with Danielson, like continuing to like, if he's going to like just keep Moxley away from Regal at all times. I'm curious about that and like how that'll develop, but still this was extremely interesting, and it was must-watch TV in that regard. We then had Keith Lee get interviewed backstage. Swerve interrupts it, and he said, Keith Lee's like literally like, you be careful right now, choose your words wisely. And then Swerve just goes and blocks the camera. He's like, listen, let's talk. And that was the end of that. We then move off to the All-Atlantic Championship match, where we had freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy face off against Jake Hager, the man who loves his purple hat.
I like my hat.
He loves that hat, man. And this was good. This was a good little, for this being the first match, you get some people that in the ring that AEW fans are really fond to. Orange Cassidy running with the All-Atlantic Championship has been a lot of fun. Hager had a nice little performance as well. There was a moment where Orange Cassidy was in the ankle lock, but then proceeds to knock his purple bucket hat off of his head, and then he was like, no! And he goes to get the hat, and that's when Jake Hager proceeds to get hit with the orange punch and rolled up, and that's how Jake Hager lost. He cared so much about how he liked that hat that he didn't care about winning the goddamn championship. So I thought that was really funny, honestly.
So
and it's like
Jake has become this. His comedy has been great. Remember at first he would just come in and just yell stuff in the middle of the promo.
Oh yeah,
everybody got a kick out of that. And
remember his poetry?
Yes. And now it's the hat. The hat has given Jake Hager the personality that he has been missing. It's a hat. And it's so great because how he's just a guy, big guy, that just wants to wear his hat.
I think that's the thing, too, about Hager throughout his entire career is that the fact that I feel like most of the time, like, serious Jake Hager or serious Jack Swagger, like, even when he was the world champion, I always found it was the weirdest thing in the world when he won the world championship, like the World Heavyweight Championship after WrestleMania 26, and he cashed in Money in the Bank and won it. Like, he went from being the loudmouth, like, crazy, like wild big man that he was to being somber and silent and serious. It was weird. It was a character change that made no sense to me about him, because I think the more serious you make Hager or Swagger, the less entertaining he can be. Because even, I will say, when he was in AEW and he was originally just brought in for the Jericho, for the Inner Circle in that regard, like MMA Jake Hager, like, it was fine. You got your one MMA match out of it, which was at least an entertaining idea. But whenever Hager would have an outburst, because, like, listen, like, Hager is good for some of the best outbursts, I think, in wrestling that just come out of fucking left field. Like, he'll just come out with some sort of little bite that you will, like, hold on to. I guess, like, the way that I could kind of, I guess I could describe it in this way, and it's not an insult, I promise you this, but Jake Hager to me is similar to he's similar to Sid, like Psycho Sid, and Steiner, like Rick Steiner, but much better wrestler than both of those two. But like the way that this man can just come out with just gems of just entertaining, like whether it be comedy or just moments that this guy comes out of nowhere. And he's a big guy who can do a lot of great wrestling things, but like better than those two. But just the thing that you go to with him is that he's just entertaining. Like you know why this guy was in WWE for as long as he was, because he's just entertaining. And I enjoyed seeing him in this position. However, after the match, when Hager lost and OC retained the title, the Factory come out and surround the ring. The lights go out after QT's mic stops working. Julia Hart on the ramp, House of Black immediately in the ring, lay waste to the best friends, Rocky Romero, Orange Cassidy, and then proceed to take out the Factory, lay waste to everybody. And then that's when Malachi Black says, members of the House of Black, please rise. And then lights go out and they disappear. So the entire House of Black, including our boy Malachi Black, is back in AEW. We can stop with the rumors that he's jumping to WWE or all that whole nonsense and having him continue to complain about how people are reporting bullshit. He's back, and I'm so glad to see these three back. And Julia. Loved seeing Julia back, too.
Yes, and I just loved how there was a heel faction and a face faction in the ring, and they beat everybody up.
They don't care.
It's set the standard that it's the House of Black versus everyone. They are, and it reset the characters, because I feel like the first House of Black, even though they were popular, they had no direction. You know, they had no direction. So with them going away and resetting, Tony can come back with an actual direction for them. And they were wildly popular, kind of directionless, just trying to fight everybody. And now if they come back with a goal, maybe it's the trios title, maybe it's the tag team titles, maybe it's Malachi trying to get the Atlantic title with the other two trying to get the tag belts. Whatever it is, they're coming back with a goal. And every angle works better when the person has a direction.
No question. But with my comparison, I will ask you, what did you think of my comparison for Jake Hager?
Dude, I loved your comparison for Jake Hager.
Okay, because I was going to say, I didn't know if I was crazy for thinking like that, but that's the way I see it with him.
Yeah, you see, Jake Hager, the thing about him is he's tough. He looks tough. He always had to look. The first moment you see Jake Hager, you're like, that's a professional wrestler. That's a tough guy. But professional wrestling is not just about the look. It's about the look and the personality, right? And these these things, yelling, the hat, it gives them a personality that softens them and makes people actually either care or want to see them on the screen. I know there's a lot of people that are like, I just want them off my screen, but I always say this, I am biased. I am completely biased when it comes to Jake Hager. He's from Oklahoma. I root for everybody from Oklahoma. That's how it works when it comes to sports. I don't get into political and all that stuff, but if you're in sports and you're from Oklahoma, I root for you. Right? So I root for Hager no matter what. I root for Rebel no matter what. So I was going to root for him no matter what. But the fact is, I'm seeing people kind of come around on him with the hat. And I just think that's pretty dope.
Absolutely. We then had the finals of the men's world title eliminator tournament between All Eagle Ethan Page and Absolute Ricky Starks, with the winner facing off against MJF in a world title match at Winter Is Coming. And Ethan Page comes into this match fresh. Ricky Starks is all taped up and all injured up, and Ethan Page would just work that for the entire match. And it was majority, like pretty much almost the entire match was Ethan Page up until like the final moments, like pretty much everything. Like there was once, like Starks got a superplex off the top rope at one point and also had a swinging net breaker and was starting to really put things in there. But then Ethan Page was again going at him again, power bombed him and nearly pinned him off of that. And then when he eventually tried to go for the Eagle's Edge, Starks was able to get out of it. He got 3 total spears on the match, and after 2 straight spears, which led to the third one, Ricky Starks got the pinfall win. He will face off against MJF for the AEW World Championship at Winter Is Coming. And I think for MJF, I like a lot about what this first little match could be, because it's a nice little match for MJF to retain his belt and all that kind of stuff. But they can cut good promos against each other, so like at least you can give the match a little bit more like of an edge. I feel like you don't need it to be like here's the first guy MJF beats on the road to his title reign continuing. Like, you put these guys with a mic in each other's hands, I think you can at least give the match a bit of an edge that I think it could really use to just give it that little extra, I feel like.
Absolutely. Thing about Ricky Starks is, like, no one expects him to beat MJF. No one does. You know, it's going to be the first defense. It's the first, But Ricky Starks has this baby face in peril, coming back, getting overwhelmed. He has this thing down to a science. He plays it well. And it's going to work perfectly with who MJF is. The big thing is that no matter what MJF does, he'll hit him with the finisher. He'll hit him with the Nux, or he'll hit him with that. Ricky's going to keep coming, and Ricky's going to keep coming, and it's going to frustrate MJF, and it's going to be a very simple story to tell, and it's going to be a beautiful match. I'm glad I'm going to be there, but in this match, very much, he played the same role. It was just like he just got punished and punished and punished, and no matter what Ethan could do, he couldn't keep him down. And it wasn't that Ricky was better than Ethan Page. It's that there was nothing Ethan Page can do to keep him down. Ricky was going to keep coming. So I do like this story. I do like him as an amazing first opponent for MJF.
Yeah, I think it'll be really entertaining to see how that match goes. But we move on then to the little bit of a side thing, which was the fact that they showed the video footage of TBS champion Jade Cargill getting in Bow Wow's face, and they were interviewed about it, basically, and Jade said, listen, there's going to be a celebration next week about how she retrieved her TBS championship, and Kiera Hogan got relieved of her duties of being a baddie, so Kiera Hogan, bye. And I think, was she the one that was like carried out, kicking and screaming from the Bow Wow thing? I couldn't remember if it was her.
I believe so, because I remember blue hair, and she has the.
Because I was gonna say, if she was the one that got kicked out, then like, listen, if you're gonna get carried out and like full on like made to look like that against Bow Wow security, like you got no leg to stand on. I'm sorry, like you got no leg to stand on. So. Maybe you can get your way back into there, but I'm sorry, Kiera. It's time to move on.
Yeah. So, Kiera is out. That's crazy.
Yeah. Next, the Best of 7 series match number 2 between the Elite and Death Triangle. I mean, this match was, again, another great performance from all 6 men. It was overshadowed, of course, of what we talked about last week. Fuck the Elite. Fuck CM Punk chants.
Chicago represent, baby. Chicago represent.
So much so that on Being the Elite this week, the Elite named the episode F the Elite and just said, like, well, if they don't respect us, then we're going to cheat, basically, backstage, continuing to play into it. And that's what they tried to do. They tried to use that hammer that Pac is so infatuated with during the match. And they tried to use it to the point where Matt was so, because also they hit a low blow on Pac when Rick Knox was distracted. The hammer was slid in from Brandon Cutler. Matt grabbed it, was too busy, like almost like making love to the hammer, that he failed to realize that Penta was right behind him, had his own hammer, and proceeds to hit Matt Jackson in the head with it. And then Pac goes ahead and pins it, and Death Triangle 2-0 lead against the Elite. Sweep them. Just sweep them. Like, please. Like, it'd be the funniest thing in the world for me and only me if you swept them. But regardless, again, this was I thought this was going to be my favorite match of the night. I really thought it was going to be, but I want to talk about that one later down the road. But this was really good. Again, I don't expect a bad match from anybody in this ring. Like, I don't think anybody in this ring is incapable of having a bad match, as far as my knowledge. I can't think of one. But yeah, no. Also, Pac had a mask on for this match, which they proceeded to remove because I think the Elite are just incapable of trying to rip a mask off. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not talking about CM Punk. I refuse.
Oh, so let me talk about Chicago. Represent, y'all. Hey, Come on, man. Come on, man. All I got to say is this reaction from Chicago, one of the hottest cities in the country, doesn't tell you that the Mr. Phil Brooks should be making a return to AEW, then nothing is. Nothing does. And I'll move on from that. I just wanted to say that. The match was epic. I mean, it's the Young Bucks and Lucha Bros. It was like, again, the beginning of AEW. I was like, I can't wait to see these people wrestle. And it's one of those things when you're truly talented and truly just can go out there and mix it up and really put your match together, no match is going to look alike. And that's how I feel about the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. And that triangle and the Elite is that no match, even though they've put this match on twice, I felt like the first match and the second match were completely different. Even though it came down to the kind of the last spot, it got there in such a completely different way that the match was just still amazingly entertaining. I'm like, dude, you're talking about a match that literally ended with a hammer spot and people are like 4.5 stars. Generally, if you look at how people are so critical of wrestling, like anything that ends with any kind of schmoz or there's no way you're going to get 4 stars. But the Elite and Lucha Bros or Death Triangle are on such a different level that those rules don't apply to them. This match was another one to add to the library of just great matches. The ending was entertaining. The GTS, the flip over buckshot lariat where he falls on his ass. Everything added to
biting.
The biting. Everything made this match unique.
So I switched to Boost Mobile and got this free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone.
Why do you think they call it the Galaxy?
Maybe because the Samsung Galaxy A23 has a huge screen, and galaxies are huge gravitationally bound systems of stars rotating around a supermassive black hole.
And the phone is free?
When you switch to Boost Mobile.
Cool. You lost me at gravitationally bound.
Switch to Boost and get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. Limited time offer while supplies last. New customers only. Excludes tax. One device offer per line. Only available on certain networks. 5G not available everywhere. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare is here, and so is Mountain Dew. Roger that. Now you can unlock in-game rewards like only Dew can.
Wait, what rewards?
A Dew Operator Skin.
Man, I love Operator Skins.
Dual double XP, and even Call of Duty points.
You're kidding me. Double XP and Call of Duty points? This is incredible. I can't believe it.
Soldier, get a hold of yourself.
Oh, roger that.
Look for specially marked packaging and visit mtndewgaming.com for details and restrictions. Open to U.S. residents 17 plus. Call of Duty points available on 12 and 24 packs and free 2823.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
Unique, and it's something you're not going to see in the third match. You're not going to see in the fourth match. This was unique to the second match. Now, think about all the series you've ever watched in sports. How many game twos do you remember? You know what I mean? But I'm going to always remember this match too because they made it its own match. People are like, oh, they went over the top. No, they gave the fans what they came for. If they never do anything like this again, I could understand it because this audience, this performance was for that Chicago audience. Is it going to play in Indianapolis the same way? No, but it was specifically for that Chicago audience, and it killed, and they killed, and you know, even if you don't want to talk about the other guy, it still killed as a performance.
Oh no, and it got people talking. Absolutely. Like I want to move on. I've said it from Jump Street. Yeah. I want to move on.
I'm just going to let you know that 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, Bruce Pritchard and I think it was Jim Cornette got together and did a podcast over the Montreal Screwjob. That literally happened when you were like 2?
No, that was in '97. Montreal Screwjob. I wasn't even one.
You wasn't even one. So think about that. Wrestling fans don't let shit go. Ever. They're never letting this go. Long after I'm gone and you're still here, there's going to be podcasts about Brawl Out.
Couldn't have been with anybody else. Anybody else.
I'm just saying, it's just wrestling. And it's the one thing. It was like Kenny Omega did the thing and he said, let it go. And I was like, say you don't understand wrestling without saying you don't understand wrestling. And then I realized he was trolling all of us. Kenny Omega got me. I don't want to have to say it, but he got me. Because he said, let it go. And then he played right into it the whole time. And I loved it.
All right. Anyways, we then had the massive announcement about how Thunder Rosa was agreeing to a mutual agreement with AEW to relinquish the AEW Women's World Championship. And Jamie Hayter, no longer interim, is your AEW Women's Champion. And Britt Baker immediately took the microphone from JB, saying, we were never even considering the term interim. And again, it was a huge moment. We mentioned it a little bit last week. And I'm very excited to see this because honestly, like, again, while I understand it, the interim usage is just, it's tiresome just because the conversation around it is bleh. And I understand why they use it, and I get it to an extent, but I feel like wrestling fans have decided, you know what? If the main champion isn't going to be on the card, then just put it up for vacancy.
So I need 2 shirts. I need a Tony Storm, Title Town Tony, or and new T-shirt with Tony Storm having the belt, and then I need a Jamie Hayter with having a belt. Hey, because that's how it works. Once you get a championship, you get a shirt with you having the belt on it. I already got my MJF one on the way. So if they are real champions, the only way to prove they're real champions
is with a shirt.
With a shirt. That's how you prove that you're a champion in AEW. I have a shirt that says I was a champion.
There you go. Well, we then moved on to a 3-way tag match between Ty Mello and Anna JAS versus Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue versus Jamie Hayter and Dr. Britt Baker DMD. I mean, this was fine. It was all the women getting on the match, basically, on the card before the main event. This is typical of what we tend to see from AEW with women's matches. I like the fact that Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue were included in there, but they felt like an afterthought, as did Ty Mello and Anna JAS as well. But regardless, big win for Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, getting your new women's champion on the card, at least in a way. And still, Britt and Jamie are still tight-knit, at least for now. We'll see how long that lasts, but this was fine, I felt like.
This was something that happened on the show. Boom.
Yes, there you go.
That's all I have to say.
All right, there you go. Anyways, we go through, and we then had a little announcement, which we'll talk about as well on Rampage, about what your boys FTR are doing and how they basically were impressed with Top Flight, and they were like, you know what? Why don't Darius mentions put those Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line at Rampage? And FTR agrees, so they were going to defend those tag titles on Rampage. So we at least got a match of FTR. Thank God.
Oh, Top Flight's been good. FTR's going to try to make them great. So no,
there you go.
FTR getting booked, dude. Rampage has been there this whole time. Just book FTR on Rampage every week. I would be totally fine with it. Give them like their 15, 20-minute tag team of the week match. Let them beat somebody up, drop them on their head, and call it a day. FTR should be on my TV every week. You know why? Not for selfish reasons. Not for my selfish reasons. Because they want to be on TV. They want to work. It's like one of the top tag teams in your company wants to work. Let them work. It's like you gave you gave the Elite and Death Triangle 7 matches. And you say you can't find time every week for FTR? Let's go. Yeah, no excuse.
All right. We then had a little segment with the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Acclaimed, coming out with Daddy Ass. Basically, all it amounted to was, hey, Daddy Ass no longer needs the bandages. He can scissor like normal. Then you had Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh and Jeff Jarrett interrupt them. And Daddy Ass was like, get that old man off my screen. And there were fuck TNA chants. Lovely. And Daddy Ass himself said, scissor me, Daddy Ass. So he referred to scissoring in the third person, which I thought was quite interesting. And yeah, this was just a nice little fun segment to get the Acclaimed on the show so fans could be happy and see the Acclaimed because, you know, everybody loves the Acclaimed. It was fine. It was there.
Yeah, it was there. This is just like, nah, okay. It was fun. It was entertaining. It didn't make me want to turn the channel, but I am not gonna. I don't have.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not a segment that's like, you know.
I don't have a lot.
It's not a memorable segment, which again, it wasn't designed to be. Yeah. So, main event time though, the Ring of Honor World Championship between the Ocho, Chris Jericho, and Tomohiro Ishii. Oh, Ishii beat the shit out of Jericho. Like, chopped this man to death to the point where his chest was bleeding. Like, blood just coming out of this man's chest. It was ridiculous. Like, the damage that Jericho took in this match fucking blew me away. But then also, too, again, Ishii also took a good amount of damage as well, as there was a point where Jericho was hit on the apron. Jericho hit Ishii on the apron with the DDT. And yeah, there was just, oh my God, like him blocking the Judas effect and going for the big fucking headbutt onto Jericho was crazy. He also hit a code breaker of his own on Jericho, which was nuts. But eventually though, Ishii gets put in the Lion Tamer and he's forced to tap out. And eventually, though, Claudio Castagnoli comes out and keeps Jericho away from trying to get his hands on Ian Riccaboni once again. And that is your match for Final Battle. You will get Chris Jericho versus Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Championship. A rematch for Final Battle. It is official. That is what you get. This match fucking killed just because Ishii's he's just a monster. Like, I love seeing Ishii on my television screen. He's just fucking mental.
Yeah. So he chopped a man's chest open.
Insanity.
Yes, with his hand, and that was such an amazing visual. Again, you talk about wrestling, and it's like you talk about things that make each match unique. You're probably not going to see this again. You know what I mean? You're probably not going to see a man chop a man's chest open till it bleeds, because you have wrestlers saying they've never seen this. Bryan Danielson, if you go on the AEW, he was cutting a promo how he'd never seen this before. I mean, a lot of people have rightfully called Ishii one of the best wrestlers in the world. And if he doesn't prove it, like, you know, every time he steps out in the ring, he does. I've literally never seen an Ishii match I didn't like. And that's the biggest compliment anybody can get. I can give is like, I've never seen him not do amazing. So yeah. Tomohiro Ishii killed it.
He very much did. But that closed out AEW Dynamite Thanksgiving Eve. It was a good show, I felt like, honestly. It wasn't necessarily the biggest show that they could have done, but again, it rode off of the back of that amazing first segment, the insanity that was the second match in the Best of 7 series, because that Chicago crowd wanted blood. And then Ishii and Jericho killing each other.
Yeah, everything. It was the comeback show for me. It was the aftermath of what was it? Full Gear. So that's another good thing about it. And dude, like, it just does not feel like that. It was that short ago to Full Gear. Full Gear feels
it's crazy, ago. Yeah.
So no, it was a really good show.
Yeah. Over to Rampage, you opened it with your Ring of Honor tag team champions FTR defending against Top Flight. So I love the fact that they got on and they were immediately leading off the show. And yeah, I mean, like, Floyd, do you want to take this over since you can go ahead and gush about your guys, and then I'll speak on this next?
So if you understand Rampage, It's no secret. This is not insider information. It's shot in reverse. The main event goes on first, So the main event, even though Mark Henry says it's time for the main event at the end, the most important match of the show goes on first. We get FTR and Top Flight. This is the thing about FTR, and as far as the difference between them, Young Bucks, or any other tag team, their matches are pretty much to tell the story that they need to tell in that match. Is all their matches going to be super flashy? No, but they're always going to be well executed. This match told the story that Top Flight is really, 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 really good at wrestling, and that they're just not on FTR's level yet. Like, there wasn't a lot of close pinfalls on Top Flight's part. Every time they tried to get the advantage, they got their spots, but every time they tried to get the advantage, FTR would just take them out, and then in the end, big rig, go home. So, very good match. Really excited that Dante's back. I always get them. Darius is back. I'm really excited Darius is back. I think Top Flight could very much be the tag team of the future if they could stay healthy. So hopefully they can just stay healthy and be great. But this was just a well-executed, beautiful match. Got to see Cash do a little flying. Got to see Top Flight do their thing. And you got to see a lot of reasons why they're the best tag team in the world. But also why you also saw the building blocks of what Top Flight does. So when the next time Top Flight fights FTR, it'll be a closer match. And then eventually they'll beat FTR. But this was the basic start of a long feud, not even a long feud, a long journey for Top Flight to eventually be the top tag team in AEW. Very, very good match. Very solid match. I'm not going to say it was 5 stars. It really wasn't. But, it wasn't. It was a really solid match. It was a very entertaining match, and that's what you're going to get every time FTR goes out there. And that's what is appropriate. A 5-star match wasn't appropriate for the story that they were telling this week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't. It wasn't like 5 stars is like the big blow off matches is what you save when FTR's the tag team champions. Top Flight is on a streak. They're doing a main event at Revolution, and it's not a regular, but they're having a big title match at Revolution, and it's Top Flight trying to take that last step. That's when you leave it out on the table. This one set the standard for what will be future matches.
Yeah, and again, it was good. It was really, really good. It was a great FTR tag match. And Top Flight, again, being able to see them together and doing good matches as well is exceptional because, again, I like Dante Martin a lot. He can do unreal things. The character just isn't there for me. And having Darius back to be able to have Top Flight be a thing works so much better. Because as a tag team, I think, again, Dante is so much more well-suited because, I think it's safer for them to work because they can then be, taking intervals in their work. And it just allows them to bounce off of each other, I think, a lot better. But, yeah, this was a really good first match. Afterwards, when FTR got the big rig and won it, the Gun Club walk out on stage. They applaud. They're trying to get under FTR's skin, continuing this feud. And yeah, we'll be excited to see how this goes as well. We then had.
I do want to throw this out there. I want the Ass Boys and FTR to happen.
It's going to. I feel like at some point. I
don't want it to happen at Final Battle. I just don't think it's big enough for Final Battle. You've had your first match at Final Battle was the Briscoes, 5 stars. The second match at Final Battle was a 2 out of 3 fall with the Briscoes, 5 stars. Going to the Ass Boys and or the Guns. I love Colton and Austin. They are amazing. They have not reached that level where they should be in this match with them after those first 2 matches at Ring of Honor. You've set a standard for Ring of Honor tag team matches. I don't think the Guns can live up to that standard. Am I wrong? Can I be wrong? Absolutely. I could be wrong. They can knock it out. I just don't think them in their current presentation are ready yet. And there's the Kingdom. There's you could do another dream match. There's so much else you could do. I don't want the Guns put in a position to fail. where people just don't care about the match. And I do think if you put that on a Ring of Honor after what you've had already this year with FTR, no one will care.
No, yeah, I think that for sure. It's going to be very much needed that it's going to have to happen somewhere outside of Final Battle, because I think, seeing the Guns against FTR, it's not, especially considering the last FTR Ring of Honor pay-per-view match we got was Briscoes.
Yeah.
You can't go from the Briscoes to the Guns.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
The only way I could see it working is it ends up being a triple threat match and FTR, like the Guns pin the other team, but I don't think you want to do this right now. I just don't think it's the right spot. I don't mind FTR losing. I don't really, like I said, results of FTR, honestly, as much as I joke, don't really matter to me. I just like to watch my team wrestle. But it just seems like you're putting people in a spot to fail if you don't put a bigger tag team. Bigger, not better. Because like I said, you don't really know how good the Guns are. They could go out there and throw out a match, but you need a bigger name to draw people to buy the show.
Right. Yeah, so moving on then, we then had a celebration meeting with Jericho Appreciation Society, Jericho with Parker, Menard, Guevara, Garcia, and Hager. Basically, him continuing to build about how he's the greatest Ring of Honor World Champion of all time. He's beaten everybody, bled for this title, but not even Claudio Castagnoli could come out on this stage and give him a cheap shot. So he asks who's going to be the person who uncrowns the King of Ring of Honor. Claudio comes out and says, listen, you asked if there was any doubt that you are the greatest Ring of Honor champion. He said, there's no doubt in my mind that I know you're not. I know you can beat you. I've beaten you twice, but, I've started doubting myself when it counts. But he came here to be the best professional wrestler that he could be, and he knows he is the best whenever he doesn't doubt himself. So he doesn't just need to beat him. He has to beat Chris Jericho. And he said, listen, maybe you should be worried about, your BCC team falling apart at the seams. He said, see, that's my problem. I can't focus on anything else because I lost to you 6 days ago. So he needs that shot. So this is when they eventually were pushing it to have this whole thing happen, basically. And eventually it just finally comes down to saying Final Battle. He said he's going to throw him around like a little kid and ring the Ring of Honor World Championship. And then, honestly, like moving on from it, nothing else happened on the show. You had Darby Allin beating Anthony Henry. You had Lexi Nair interviewing Athena, basically challenging the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Mercedes Martinez. Sheeta comes out and wrestles, and then we get into that main event of the Dark Order and what happened in that regard. So we need to get to that, I feel like. So we'll jump all the way into that because Dark Order with John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Preston Vance faced off against Roosh, the Butcher, and the Blade. And eventually, though, what ends up happening is there was a moment where 10 comes in, gets in the face of Roosh, and literally they come out and 10 the entrance happened. 10 was nowhere to be found. So they were 2-on-3 in that point. 10 eventually finally gets into the ring near the end of the match, gets into Roosh's face, and then just beats the shit out of John Silver. And then Butcher and the Blade then come out. They take out Evil Uno. Roosh proceeds to pin John Silver. 10 just starts knocking the shit out of Alex Reynolds. Evil Uno's mask gets ripped off. And then they chokeslammed Alex Reynolds to death through a timekeeper's table. As they're walking up the ramp, though, -1 is there, and Preston rips off the 10 mask and throws it at -1, and he's just standing there, kneeling down, and he's just distraught. And I'm just like, wow, we're doing this, huh? I'm like, wow. This was a crazy moment that happened on Rampage, and the one thing that I think everyone's talking about from Rampage. And I saw this. I was just like, holy shit, y'all did this. Y'all really did this. It was an earlier start time for Rampage. So they definitely were able to get at least more people to see this on socials because it wasn't late at night when it happened. And I was just like, God damn, what a fucking way to close out a Rampage. So, Floyd, I'll go to your thoughts.
Dude, this was a big moment. It was almost a moment that's needed for the Dark Order. They've just kind of fallen apart piece by piece by piece, people leaving piece by piece. The crown jewel of the Dark Order, the guy that was supposed to be the future of the Dark Order. I wouldn't even call the leader, but kind of the heir apparent. The guy that Brody Lee picked. 10. His guy. 10. I mean, -1 calls him his big brother. Turned on the legacy. Took off the mask that Brody Lee gave him. Threw it down at -1's feet. After destroying the rest of the Dark Order, the group that they said it was always the group that was always going to be together, he broke them up. And yeah, it's sad. But it's needed because Preston Vance, if you've ever seen him, the dude's put together. The dude is put together on another level, and he's just on this. He's on the trajectory to be great, and he had outgrown the Dark Order. Like he had outgrown the Dark Order, and it was time for him to move on. I like that where he moved on. It's probably going to be if Andrade come back. You want to talk about one of the most jacked factions in wrestling? Yeah. That group, one of the most jacked factions in wrestling. But it was a big monumental moment. It had people talking about Rampage. A big moment happened on Rampage. It had people talking about it.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah, that Rampage had something that was noteworthy enough to talk about. So that was huge. It was genuinely huge for Rampage. But yeah, so that is a huge momentum thing for at least the Dark Order to have something happen, because they were always just that thing where it's like, okay, we're glad to see that you guys are here and that, but like, what do you offer other than just being, making people feel happy and all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? And it was definitely needed for sure. It was definitely needed.
It had become a point of comedy that when they got a title shot, you knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah. You just knew it. You absolutely knew that they weren't going to win whenever they got involved in anything. So
yeah, and it was just like, I even said it. I was like, they really just need to win one match, so you just don't dismiss them winning.
Exactly. So I think it's definitely needed. I'm interested to see exactly what happens, because I don't know what happens from this point onward and like how they're going to use this. But I'm at least happy that something happened with the Dark Order, because they needed something to happen. But overall, I think that's going to close things out, though, for our AEW reviews for this week. Now, for the Indianapolis Dynamite that's happening tonight, Willow Nightingale versus Anna Jay was announced. We have the Jade Cargill Championship celebration where, if we're being honest, most likely Bow Wow shows up. So we'll see how that goes
I'm thinking Kiera Hogan, and I'm thinking 2 other women. I think you're going to get a faction to go against the baddies.
We'll see how that goes. But the third match of the Best of 7 series, Death Triangle versus the Elite. We will hear from MJF. He will be back. The brand new AEW World Champion will be on television first time since he won the belt. And then Bryan Danielson goes one-on-one for the first time ever against Dax the Axe Harwood. And that is going to be match of the night probably, unless the Elite and Death Triangle just want to go balls to the wall once again. But I know Floyd, especially, I know you're looking forward to that match.
Yeah, well, you see I put it on last because I was like,
there's your main event.
I mean, Death Triangle versus the Elite probably going to be the actual main event. But Bryan Danielson and Dax Harwood is my main event. Dax has had an incredible year. He has literally felt like he's wrestled everybody from even Cash to Punk to Adam Cole and to like all the people that he's went through. And it's just like one of his dream opponents was Bryan Danielson. He said it in many interviews that it was his dream opponent, one of the people he wanted to watch. He said it in a Rampage interview. He said he was going to shoot his shot. You know, I want to wrestle Bryan Danielson. And it's so awesome that it's happening for him. I mean, like, he got to tag Bret Hart. I was at the show where Bret Hart managed him in a match. Then he got to tag with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in what a lot of people think is going to be his last match. Now he gets to wrestle in the week of the Dragon. He gets to wrestle the other Dragon, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. It's going to be a hard-hitting match. Expect a lot of kicks, expect a lot of chops. And honestly, let's be real. If you look at the track record of Dax this year, expect him to tap out at some point.
Yeah, expect that.
Because he's literally lost every match that he's had except Cash. Except Cash, he's lost every match. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, I know everybody's going to do their thing. Some people like to watch wrestling like it's sports. I'm rooting for my guy. I always want my guy to win. I have no problem with you doing that. Me, I watch wrestling more like theater and art. Like, I want to go see a Denzel Washington movie because Denzel Washington's in the movie, right? If Denzel dies in the movie, I still watch the Denzel Washington movie. I'm okay with that, right? That's how I feel about FTR, right?
Right.
If Dax loses, right, as long as he's healthy at the end of the match and he gets to put on performance that he wants to, I got to see my guy work. And that's what I want to do. I got to see him do what he loves to do, what he does as good as anybody in the world, and if not better, then I got to see him do that. That makes me happy, you know?
Yeah.
And I know some people like, my guy doesn't win. There wasn't a reason to watch it. You know what I mean? I can't. I've watched wrestling too long and have honestly rooted for a lot of people that lose all the time. Too much,
yes.
Too much to say. That's what I want to see. I just want to see my people perform and be able to put on good matches. And that's what I'm going to get tomorrow. We're going to get Dax versus Bryan Danielson. It's going to be the Dragon versus the Axe. It's going to be a good match. Now, if Dax, rolls up Bryan Danielson, puts him in the sharpshooter and makes him tap out, I will jump up out of my chair and be like shocked and be like, yes, because literally he loses all the time. So I will be really shocked when he actually wins a singles match on AEW TV, because he's actually won a singles match in New Japan. He just never wins on AEW.
No, yeah, he just never wins in that regard. But that is what we got looking forward for us tonight. We have a couple things that we need to mention, including how AEW seems to not like Floyd and his plans for the holidays. Floyd, can you explain this, please? We'll get into our news and notes now.
So here we are in the middle of my beautiful Christmas season, my time of giving. And there are two things I have been waiting for since AEW announced that they would put the world title. Two things I've been waiting for. One was the AEW Cody's TNT belt with the red strap. The other being FTR or the tag team belts from AEW. Unfortunately, AEW decided that right in the middle of the Christmas season, it's time to allow a pre-order of the AEW tag team titles. And that is so. It's like, okay, if you were offering it, and I could buy it, and I could get it before Christmas, or somebody could get it for Christmas, it's great. No, you're going to buy it. You're going to be like, hey, I got you this Christmas present. You get to open it in April. What? That's what it is. $5.99 for one belt. $9.99 for two belts, which is a great deal. I was doing the math wrong. I was like, so if you buy two separate belts, that's $1,200. If you just buy the one, it's $1,000. So if you are resourceful enough that you have anybody else that you know that wants to buy a belt, absolutely, and I mean absolutely, go ahead and tell them, hey, let's buy these belts together, and you'll save $100 a belt. But for me, who money, I wouldn't say it's like super tight. But like I said, I like to focus December on giving, not buying. So it's a very awkward and annoying time. And they tend to do this for me. Like they did December 9th for, they're doing December 9th for the tickets to the San Francisco show. And it's like, okay, again, in the middle of Christmas. So now you got that title and the tickets all going on sale in a month where I'm supposed to be, giving stuff away.
Right.
Yeah, so no. The AEW hates me. They live in my wallet. They know I'm going to give them the money. Come on, just spread it out a little bit.
Yes. I feel bad for you in that regard, but yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's like the $5.99 is the cheapest this belt's going to be. If you wait, you're probably going to have to pay $750, $800 for it because that's how much the probable retail price is going to be, but
right.
I don't know. It's just a terrible time. They did have a huge pre-sale window. The pre-sales are open till 12 o'clock on December 31st. And if their pre-sale goes the way that all the other pre-sales have went, they're going to even extend it a couple days after that. They're going to extend it a couple days after that because that's basically what they've done every other time. They'd be like, oh, we're going to extend it to 2 more days. So, hey, I'm going to try to wait. Work gives out bonuses in December. Maybe my bonus is really good and I can take care of it that way. But yeah, it's a first world problem. I don't need a belt. I don't need a belt to live. I understand. A lot of people are just not buying the belt because they don't have the money. I get it. This is a whiny person's problem. I absolutely understand. And if you're already sick of me whining about it, I completely understand you. But it is very annoying that they put that on sale right now. But so Austin and you and Sydney will be the tag champs. Y'all are picking these belts up, right?
We are not going to be able to pick those up.
I didn't think so. See, because you're normal people. You are normal humans.
What I did do, though, I will say this. I did do this because I'm a petty son of a bitch. I do not own the replica AEW World Championship, but what I did do was, because, again, Punk's merch is being sold until they're out of stock, is what I'm seeing happening. I bought the little, because you know how they had the custom nameplates for the world title? I bought the CM Punk one in any off chance that I end up getting the world title replica belt, just so that way I have it. If I randomly I won the lottery and I can afford the AEW world title belt replica, I'm going to put the Punk nameplate on there is what I would do. But like I said, I don't think I'm going to get it though.
Yeah. Like I said, I completely understand, but there was 2 belts. FTR held the tag belt. Cody held the TNT title. I am a Punk fan, don't get me wrong, but I have the chair. You know this. I have the chair from every pay-per-view Punk was at, and he's probably not going to be at anymore. So I feel like that's a nice little legacy gift from his time in AEW. And, he does the signings at C2E2. One day I'll get to go, and he'll see this crazy man carrying 4 chairs for him to sign. And he'll be like... And I'll be like, yeah, I was there at every one of the shows. These were the chairs I was sitting in. So that'll be a cool moment to have eventually. The other piece of news is that Muda's last match, we have determined his partners for in his last match. We already knew Sting wanted to be his partner, but his third partner will be Darby Allin. I don't know who they're going against because, I don't remember. I don't know if that was announced. Was that announced? Do you know?
I don't know, actually.
Versus, I'm Googling right now. So these in the last match. Darby Allin last match. Opponents to be announced. So I was right. They weren't announced. Opponents to be announced later. But yeah, that's pretty cool because Moxley at a Forbidden Door press conference, back when press conferences were safe, said... he just fantasy booked that he had Muda, Darby, and Sting on one side. And it's funny because that is literally coming to fruition. Moxley is not only a world champion, not only the heart and soul of AEW, he's also a fortune teller. He can also see the future. So he should make some money off of that. I wish he saw the future of Brawl out and stopped the press conference before it started.
Yeah, maybe do that. Like, we could have appreciated that if you saw the future that far ahead. But,
yeah.
Oh, well. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? But that's it. That's all I got, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, then that will do it for this episode of All Things Elite. You guys, thank you so much for sticking with us and joining us every single week for this podcast. We really do appreciate it. I will let you know that in 2 weeks' time, not next week's episode, but the week after, I will not be here. I will be on a cruise with my family for the holidays. So Floyd will have a guest on that show. I just want to let you guys know that so you don't know, oh, Austin's gone again or whatnot. But that is the reason why I won't be on next week. Not next week, the week after next week. So there you go in that regard. But yeah, so you can definitely look forward to that episode because I'm sure Floyd will make it sound amazing. But thank you guys again for sticking with us. Please continue to download this fine show on Google App Podcasts. And if you listen to us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen to us, please give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. It really does mean the world to us. You can leave a rating, you can leave a review, and you can also support us easily by following us on social media. We are at AT Elite Pod on Twitter, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Please check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. With that, I will go ahead and pass it off to Floyd so he can take us home for this episode of All Things Elite.
Yes, I imagine all of you have turned off the show by now, but for the one person that stays on and listens, for the rest of this year until Christmas, I am going to be giving gift ideas. So this year, one gift idea. I got it for my wife this week, and I really wanted to pass it on because I've really enjoyed it. I got a digital picture frame. Like, it's one of those things that you can think's unnecessary until you get one. So I get one. And it has this app, and I load all my pictures on, my wrestling pictures, my wedding pictures on, right? So you see them scrolling around whenever time thing you have. But it really does give your mood a boost. You're sitting there and you're working, and I do a very mundane job, and you're sitting there working and you're trying to, build up your, you're trying to get through and build up your money so you can go on your next trip. And you look to the right, or wherever you put it, and you see these pictures of these happy times. I got the pictures of my wife. I got pictures right now, Anthony Ogogo's. I'm like, and I think about all the fun times, all the friends. Austin and Sydney are definitely on there. Jackie and Tiffany and all the people that mean the world to me. And I see them up there, and it literally boosts my mood. When I'm down or like I'm bored or night, I see that and it just literally makes me smile. This is something I never even thought about or considered with a digital picture frame. So if you do have people that that struggle and all that stuff, mental health, all that stuff, I'm not saying this is the fix, but I'm saying it may help a little bit. So look into digital picture frames. I'm using a brand called Aura. Yes, I'm putting over a brand without getting paid for it. I use a brand named Aura. That's what my wife bought me. I love it. It's about the easiest thing I've ever used. You can actually send emails to like your family members, and they can email pictures to you and to the link, and then it'll show up on your digital picture frame. It's so fun. So that is Floyd's gift idea. I actually already have 3 or 4 more for the rest of the year. So if you're a terrible gift giver, go ahead and listen to this. I'm going to give you some good generic ideas. I'm not going to be like, buy them Kenny Omega. No, but yeah, definitely digital picture frame. So I will leave you with that. I will leave you how I always leave you. I'm going to say, have a great holidays. And whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.